here in Vegas at ITC Connect. We're going to talk InsurTech today. With us, our good friend Matt Workman. Matt, welcome.
Welcome.
It's good to see you in Vegas.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Kareem.
What a great place, man.
It is, man. It tests you.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people. A lot of companies. A lot of innovation. It's really invigorating. So,
yeah.
Matt.
Yeah, and it'll be a challenge staying focused with people roaming around too.
Right. We're going to do our best.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Maybe we'll grab a few to join the conversation.
There we go. That'd be awkward. Yeah.
All right, Matt, well, tell us about yourself.
Sure, Kareem. So I'm out of Ohio, so Columbus formerly, but work with Persistent Systems today. Over 23 years in the insurance industry. I like to say I'm a reformed agent, insurance agent. I was working in a third-party administrator focusing on benefit plans, health and life, and also did a little bit of commercial P&C and transitioned in 2011 to this side of the fence, right? So I've been at a number of different locations like Vertifor, CoreLogic, Appian, who you work with as well. And today I'm at Persistent Systems, which is a SI focused on a lot of intelligent automation capabilities. So pleasure to be here.
Welcome to the show, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about technology.
Yep.
You've been in insurance for a long time, just as long as I've been.
Yeah.
Tell me about how has technology shaped insurance during the last 20 years?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean, 20 years from when I remember getting Accord forms, pulling out a typewriter, and literally typing out, and then using whiteout to correct my mistakes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then faxing it, hoping.
And hoping. And then doing like 4 different iterations of that with underwriters. That was always fun. That was always fun.
Hey, but the modem application submission, that was
that was always awesome.
We knew that potentially got there.
Yeah, you hope. And sometimes you had to follow up with an email and ask.
Yeah.
Like, did you get it? Yeah, I got it. Okay, great. So it's come a long way. For me, it was kind of eye-opening being an agent and going and working for an AMS provider at Vertifor and seeing where the industry was and what we weren't doing for those 10 years leading into, and how that started kind of opening my eyes up to kind of what the art of the possible could be in this space, right? Where does just simple things like workflow management, boring as heck, right? But actually pretty impactful to an insurer back in the day. And now where automation has come into play and improved these processes, off of the backs of the work like folks like Guidewire and Duck Creek had been doing for a number of years. Now with all the things that have kind of, emerged in recent years, like we mentioned Appian, OutSystems, but there's folks like Sartera and Origami, Sakatra. I always mispronounce it, and I know so many people there. I feel bad, but it's just really interesting to see where we're going away from these big, heavy, ancient systems that were very process-driven, but not necessarily built well for the future, and starting to put things in play that are really more focused on light, nimble, a lot of agility, and being able to really focus on not just the policyholder, but the internal stakeholders as well at these orgs.
I'm happy you started the conversation talking about agencies. I mean, we're here at InsurTech. I think there's an agency section. I think a lot of the InsurTech focus is always on the big guys.
It's near and dear.
Right?
It still is. It always will be.
And it's so funny because you have all these AMS systems, like you said, Vertifor and ITC, have developed all these good workflows to help agency manage.
Yep.
I mean, the conversation took us there.
Mm-hmm.
Why are agents not very efficient at using the tools that can make them work better?
Well, I think there's a variety of things. I mean, I can speak for my time in that space. There's a lot of aging agents, and the resistance to change in some of these agencies has caused some of that. You'll see the very successful ones adopt technology and continue to, really harvest this whole kind of innovation mindset inside their agencies. And those are the ones you see with like 200, 250, 500, or they become like massive like hub, they become these big brokerages. But then you see a lot, and I got to do it for quite a while at Vertifor, is go into the offices of these agencies and see how they operate. It felt like old home to me. You had folks that were 55, 60, nearing retirement, really resistant, and they were teaching the next generation coming up, even though they had that open mind, they were still seeing how things were done then. So it's probably in my opinion, outside of the big shops, it still operates like insurance did in the 80s.
It's persistent in old habits, basically.
Exactly.
And it's annoying because you look at all these kids that come in having great ideas.
Yeah.
And then they're told all of a sudden that you've got to focus on sales.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like, we're not really worried about customer experience, customer retention.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even, I've never seen a cancellation report until it happens, and the client calls to reinstate if they do, right?
Yep.
So I think you're absolutely right. There's this old generation
thing, right?
It's not a blanket thing. Absolutely. It's there's obviously some of it is the aging, like, resistance to change.
Yeah.
And I think some other part of it is focusing on just the top of the funnel. Is like making sure, focusing on money coming in, not money slipping through that. And I think once agents start paying attention to both what's coming in and what's leaving, only then they'll be able to adopt, like, growth mindset. They'll help them.
Absolutely, and the other thing too that I feel will push the agent market even further to get better at this is carrier innovation. If they see that the technology that an insurer is actually implementing is impacting the communication channel and the customer impact in that regard, then they start going, oh, okay, if carrier XYZ is doing this, maybe there's some things that we can do to even expedite or make a better policyholder experience in this whole thing, right?
Oxymoron. It's a double-edged sword, right? Agents.
And then it comes the other way too.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't want to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Right? So they're like, oh, carriers should do it. Right? When the carriers start doing it, carriers are starting to steal our customers. Right. So which one is it? Do you want carriers to do it, yes or no?
And I think too, when we talk about innovation, you're looking at agency owners a lot of times driving those things. And IT departments aren't very robust in these orgs either, or they're outsourced, but they're outsourced to like a regional IT shop. There's one in Ohio. I'm not going to mention them, but I know what they do and who they serve. They serve a lot of the mutual insurers, but they also serve some larger agencies, and they do a terrific job. But it also is like siloing innovation in a region, and they're not opening their eyes up to really what's out there, right? And so, I think that's something there that, if they start identifying where they could take their internal IT resources and expand it with, folks like you and I, or, for that matter, even, some of these organizations have very robust consulting and IT resources to help them through that.
I think that's a very important point there is maybe carriers do need to drive the effort, but not necessarily by implementing the effort, but by enabling the effort.
Encouraging,
like,
yes.
Like, for example, as an agency, even a large agency that has access to all the resources IT-wise to engage with companies like such as ourselves, oftentimes they find themselves at the mercy of their agency management systems, who actually is at the mercy of the updates from the carrier. So the data is not always available. To my client data as an agent is not available to me whenever I want, unless I go to the carrier's website. Nobody has the time to scrape the website. So where is the carrier's role in this? Why do you think carriers are not more upfront? Instead of giving me an agency portal, why don't you just give me an agency API?
Well, yeah, there's that, and there is progress towards that in certain pockets, right? For certain lines of business, they're starting to do that. But at the same time, there are brokerages in particular that I know that have whittled through all the questions and all the data gathering that is required by their insurers to make their lives so much better by simplifying the questions that are asked of the agent. Because the data is out there. So really all you need to do is, who's the possible insured or the insured? What kind of coverages are they looking to achieve? And really, you can go get all the risk data you need. It's out there. Bring it to the forefront and then deliver your packets in a unified way to your insurers. Start working with your insurers to ensure that they're adopting. And then the other way, as an insurer, be open to, if you've got a broker or an agent that's doing these things, maybe you need to consider how you adapt, how your applications come in as well. And so there's so many variables at the insurer level with even similar types of products that they're offering in the market. what information they require in order to issue a quote. If all of that starts becoming much more simple and much more unified on both ends, then it's going to make that experience better, ultimately. No.
This is all.
Guess what? AI can help there, right? But this is all on the proven side. AI is still out there, right? Yeah.
How much we have left to do on the proven side.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
AI.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
Well, I mean, my take on it is there's a variety of things. So, I mean, we, at Persistent Systems, we've built our own AI tool called AssistX. The concept of it is exactly what we've been kind of talking about, where this would kind of come into play. And this isn't a sales pitch, it's just kind of talking about where this value comes in. Is like with AI, when you're implementing things to, like what we're talking about, simplifying the data collection, going out and grabbing it. The other thing you got too is inaccuracies. You've got insufficient data, or you have different information coming to you. If, say, you're an underwriter coming from an agent that's email and it's written, or it's a call, or it's on an app, on a Accord form, and you're getting all these variables. How do you simplify that and turn the quote around quicker so your quote to bind ratio gets better? So AI is going to help you in a variety of ways. You get that information in, and you could use some different tools that are out there, like intelligent document processing, to really clean up that whole gathering phase, right? But there's always going to be these instances where there's incomplete or inaccurate data based off of what you know and what's out there in the market. And that's where you can leverage an AI tool very efficiently to be able to go out, help plug those gaps, but also when the gaps are not necessarily readily available, have a touchless communication between you and the broker, or you and the policyholder, you being the underwriter, and start really speeding up that whole data collection before you've even gotten to a triage level. So you can really evaluate risk pretty quickly, decline very quickly with an AI type tool, but then also leverage it in that next layer of triage as well. Now we're getting deeper. We're getting into the risk a bit more. What more do I need to know? What policy limits internally am I, maybe as an underwriter, not off the top of my head, really well versed or aware of? Or the other thing it can start doing too is it can start actually teeing up questions that you need to be considering, or different materials that you need to be considering when you're going through your triage or risk evaluation. That's just an underwrite. Think about claims, like fraud detection. Yeah, just customer experience. Yeah, exactly. Well, we've all done chatbots, and they suck. They just, hi, my name is so-so. No, I know you're not a human. And then you start having these really you should call. Well, that didn't help me any.
Exactly.
But guess what? Conversational AI will do for you. It'll take that a whole lot further, because now you're going to have something that feels human. I know that's a little scary when you think about it. Well, I'm not actually communicating with a human, but actually that human is there, but they're doing more meaningful work in the back end.
And it trains itself.
And it trains itself.
It's contextual.
Exactly.
It's something that you couldn't potentially program a chatbot to do the old way, because you program it for your use cases today. It's not. The moment you put it in production, it's obsolete.
Exactly.
It needs to be changed because life goes on. Whereas the AI gives it the ability to keep teaching itself and readapting to the new questions and the new problems that are there. You look at large language models, what it's doing with the whole just summarization of knowledge base.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's just that's, I think, we're at the infancy of LLM as far as AI is concerned.
But it's going to come fast, man. Real fast. Well, if you think about it too, we both work with low-code providers, and a lot of them use the term future-proof.
Shout out to my buddies at Encore.
Hey, same. But you'll hear that term come out of folks' mouths once in a while at those firms, and I was one of them. I was at Appian for a brief moment. I used to use that term. Like, low-code helps enable your solutions, your platforms, your systems, your tech stack to be more future-proof, because it can change. It's more nimble. But that's really not a necessarily accurate statement. AI helps make that future-proof, because constant learning without any human intervention at some point. Once it learns and it continues to learn, your engine will continue to thrive. Imagine what it can do with your platforms that you have in place. identify like, hey, this process sucks. We need to clean it up. We need to fix it. Hey, your low code implementation on this product line. Oh, that would be great if you did it for product B, C, D inside of your organization. There's so many different things that it's going to start unlocking that are going to make us much smarter, make our processes so much better, make our engagements with our policyholders and our agents and the whole channel a heck of a lot better.
I do think, regardless of insurance, technology in general, as SIs, our business is going to be revolutionized between those two technologies, AI and low code together. I feel like
Don't forget about RPA.
I bundle it in AI, but automation also,
Yeah.
So I think those three, AI, RPA, and low code, I think they're going to change the way we provide solutions to our clients.
Absolutely.
And it's important for us as solution providers to be the counselors and guidance on that. It really falls upon us to learn everything there is to learn about it.
Yep.
And just seeing how much adoption AI has gotten in this conference. I remember back when cloud was the big question.
And everybody's scared. Oh, our data's in the cloud. What do we do?
Web-based, do we go web-based or like do we keep distributing software? Like it's, but the thing that's different this time around, in my opinion, and I'd like to get your take on that, is the pace of adoption.
Yeah.
I felt like every single big question that we had regarding IT has taken years to be resolved, whether it's desktop, web, whether it's cloud, on-prem. It took a while for companies to kind of make that shift. AI, what I'm noticing is it's fast.
Yeah.
Like Chat GPT, really got really famous in the last couple of years maybe, and then all of a sudden, look how many AI companies are in this show. It's like,
Yeah, because everybody's trying to catch that gravy train, right? To a degree, but it's a very meaningful need right now in the market. And I think, it's not like AI hasn't been here. It's been here for a while. I mean, before coming over to Persistent, I was in the startup space, and every single startup I was a part of in the aerial technology sector, they were focused on AI in every one of the platforms, utilizing AI and machine learning to make decisions off of imagery and bring that to the forefront to make a claim adjuster's life so much better, right?
predictive analytics in the early 2000s, late 90s, all that is actually an early form of AI.
Exactly. So we're sitting here looking at a situation where folks, and during that period of time over the last 5 years, it predated COVID, there was still a lot of resistance in the insurer realm in particular in trusting those types of returns, because they're like, oh, how is it trained, all those things. Well, this is the way we've always done it, we're more comfortable with that, that's what our adjusters know, or this is what our underwriter knows, or whatever the case may be. But now I think with COVID and some of the things that folks have had to think about in order to make their organizations run better, smoother, faster, now that folks aren't in the office every single day, or at least to some degree now starting to come back, but we're seeing more openness to these types of capabilities than I think at any point during this whole insurtech movement with new tech. I find that part very fascinating, that you're seeing C-level folks say, yes, we got to figure out how we're going to deploy an AI strategy in our organization, where there was so much resistance.
It's so interesting that you make that connection between working remote, people going home, and being open to try new things and adopt new things. I don't think I linked those two.
Well,
before,
you're sitting at home, and you're working from home, and you're seeing where, you're almost kind of seeing the other side of your business a little bit different. You're almost looking in from the outside, even though you're still part of the inside, right? And I think it started opening folks up to saying, while I've been home and I've been working for a year and a half without any human interaction, we could be doing this a hell of a lot better.
Right?
And so how?
Why do we do this again?
Yeah. So I think during that period of time, it created a little bit more creativity, a little bit more of an open mind to these types of things. And that's why, last year at InsurTech Connect, and really, this year especially, I've noticed it, a lot more of this open engagement for all tech. Sometimes you get in conversations with folks where people are just kind of walled off, oh, that doesn't make sense, or that's not very interesting. Now you're seeing I've never seen as many of these little individual booths at InsurTech busy. like legitimately busy. And I even heard people talk about next steps and demos and things. You sometimes hear that, but now this year you've really seen that.
Absolutely. Yeah, the world has changed when it comes to how we see technology. Now we see it as a must. It's like the way we see internet, right?
Yeah.
We can't live without the internet. I think we're starting to see we can't live without AI. And it's just going to be a matter of somebody likes to use the word control it. Yeah, I don't think you can control AI, but I think you can try to understand exactly its purpose. That's
Yeah.
This was fascinating.
Cool.
Unfortunately, time is catching up to us.
Oh, it is definitely.
Oh man,
Good to the end of this.
that was good, fascinating conversation.
Yeah.
Matt, before we end the show,
Yeah.
some golden nuggets from the show.
Well, I kind of shared it a little bit with that engagement situation. I found that to be very fascinating, and I've been coming to this event since its initial. Well, I didn't come to the first year; I came to the second year, and I've come every year since. Did the virtual one during COVID, which that was just a train wreck for everybody, not just for InsurTech. Every conference that tried to do it. But I think, like I said, from years past, in the early stages, it was very much like this, but it was a lot of people just trying to figure out what the heck they were doing. There was a lot of like partnership conversations, like VC conversations, of course. This year just felt a lot different and open, and actually you see carriers like having, especially insurance carriers, that's who I primarily talk to here, they have urgency. Like they're actually like, we got to do things. We have to innovate. We have way too many policy systems in the fold. We got to figure this out. We got to clean it up. We got to make, not, again, I always use the term customers when I talk about policyholders, but I also talk about customers when I'm thinking about the employees themselves. The people who are doing the day in, day out, you got to help those customers before the policyholder situation gets better. And we're seeing a lot more insurers in-house doing a lot better stuff. So it's been really cool to see that from this event.
Very true. Shout out to the ITC people for doing a great job throwing this event year after year, bringing value to the attendees every single year.
This by far is the best of all of them that come down the circuit every year. They do a terrific job.
They keep surpassing themselves.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Matt,
Kareem,
what a pleasure having you, man. Thanks
Appreciate
for
the
being
time.
with us. We're definitely going to be in touch again soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was a great episode. All right, well, you heard it. We had a lot of fun with Matt today. And another incredible session here at ITC Connect in Vegas. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And please, as usual, like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you later.
Absolutely.
Bye.